Good evening. Welcome to Talk to Connect. This is where we share our stories to inspire and empower each other. Our guest today is a lady who was a college dropout, a housewife who needed more of life, and she decided to explore her potential so that she could become the best version of herself. I'm proud to have her on our platform today. At 59, Dinnaz is a coach, a keynote speaker, and the creator of the program Soul Warriors, which has helped over 25,000 people around India, South Asia, Australia, and the Middle East to drop their emotional baggage of the past, break through their limiting beliefs.
So, Dinnaz, I've really loved your story, and your story has really inspired me. Being in your previews, I've been listening to your story, and I think everybody who's been in that room has been inspired with that story in one way or another. And I would like you to share that story in this platform because I know there's someone out there who's maybe thinking the same the way you were thinking and still scared of taking that step. And I really want your story to inspire others the way it inspired me. So I'll be honored if you share your story with us.
Thank you. First, let me say thank you. Thank you for having me here. And thank you for trusting me with your audience. So, where do I begin? Born and brought up in Mumbai, India. I don't know about you or your audience, but my childhood was the stuff nightmares are made of. My father was the original authoritarian, and he had these various sayings that he used right through my childhood. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Children and dogs should only be seen, not heard. Children and dogs don't eat at the dining table. These were some of the sayings that I grew up with. Lots of screaming, yelling, shouting going on in my house. I got beat up a whole load by my dad. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was when neighbors would catch me on the road the next day and say, "Hey, you got a pasting last night, huh?" Now that for that little 5-6-year-old child was humiliating. And that little child learned to say, "I don't care what people think. I don't like people. I don't like talking to people." And because of that thought process, I never learned how to make friends. I went through my entire school life without a single friend. By the time I got to 19, I was done. I couldn't handle my dad anymore. And I just wanted an out. But I'm talking the late 70s. Fatima, don't get fooled by any of this hair. It's all white, just colored from the top. I touched 60 2 days back. And back in those days, nobody ever taught us that, hey, study hard, work hard. You can get a job. You can get a loan. You can buy your own house. You can even live in your own house. Back in those days, we used to get one standard advice, and that was, get married, get out. And that is precisely what I did just after I turned 20. I got married, got out. First thing I did after marrying was I quit my education. I was in my third year, in my final year of graduation in the commerce stream. And that was something my dad had pushed me into. I had no interest in commerce, so I was very happy to give that up. My husband worked in the merchant marine, earning brilliantly. He wasn't interested in me working, but very honestly, I was never interested either. I had always known, ever since I was a child, that I was going to be a wife and a mother. That was all I was going to be. I had zero ambition. 4 years into my marriage, I got pregnant, gave birth to a beautiful daughter. But she turned out to have special needs. The first year of her life went into sheerly keeping her alive. She wasn't willing to live, and I wasn't willing to let her die. The next 6 years went into making her walk and talk, by which time I was 30 years old, and my marriage was in serious trouble. Now, in India at least, we don't give up very easily on marriage. So, put in another 3 years, trying to push every boundary to make the marriage work. But finally, at the age of 33, I was forced to walk out of the husband's house. Financially broke, emotionally broken. This little 7-year-old special child with me, no roof over my head, incomplete education, never done a job in my life, and to make matters worse, couldn't go back to my father's house either. That is the point at which my life began. When you're in a situation like that, you kind of feel so hopeless, so helpless. And you feel, I was a person who was painfully shy, didn't like people, remember? Painfully shy, zero self-belief, negative self-value. So to bring myself out of that was a Herculean task. But I always say this to people. I say, if I could do it, anybody can do it. Anybody. Started my journey, first finished my education, then started working. 3 years from the time I started working, got into business for myself in computer maintenance. We used to manage networks for multinational banks. So Barclays, Credit Suisse, Credit Agricole, ANZ, Grindlays. These were some of our big clients, huge contracts. And the journey began. Business was beautiful, very good money. But, if you know any parents of special children, you'll know this. There is always this huge burden on our shoulders. And the thought always is, what's going to happen to my child after I'm dead and gone? Where is the money going to come from? Because today I am earning, I am saving, but inflation is going to eat into it within 10 years of my death. What happens to my child after that? So I needed a passive source of income, and that I found in network marketing. Got into this amazing company, built a huge team of partners, and together with them, we did amazingly well. But that was my first foray into working with people. Now, I would never have done that if I didn't have a really strong reason to do it. And that was my daughter. So for her, I would be willing to do anything. I would be willing to crush every single limiting belief that I had. And I had to do that if I had to work with people. So I started working with my teams, coaching them, training them. Because with the mindset of an employee, you can never be a successful businessman. I had to give them that mindset shift to bring them into this mindset of ownership. A businessman owns his business. An employee is working for somebody else. And there will always be the thought that, hey, I have to do only this much. This is my job as a businessman. Everything. You will sweep your office if you need to, if you are a businessman. So that happened. Then in 2013 came the next level of my life. My father was dying of cancer, and there was this huge mess between him and me. which I really wanted to resolve in this lifetime. I didn't want to carry it into another lifetime, and go through the whole process all over again. So I took a very radical decision. I shut down both my businesses overnight. My computer maintenance as well as my network marketing business. And the next 2 years looked after my dad, doing everything for him, cleaning him, bathing him, feeding him, washing out his bed sores, everything. In the process, completed my dad completely and completed myself. And then in 2015, after dad passed away peacefully, I sat down to think, now what? Because now, for the second time in my life, I had come down to zero. Where do I go from here? All the money that was saved and, kept, 20 years of savings, finished, wiped out in 2 years of cancer. Cancer is an extremely expensive disease. Now what do I do? Where do I go from here? How do I start earning again? Because I was 53 at that point and there was no way anybody was going to give a commerce graduate a job which would give me the kind of money I required for my daughter, for my mother, to save up for my daughter's future. None of this was going to happen. And whenever I'm in a quandary, whenever I feel that, I don't know what to do here, I look up, I speak to my maker and I say, Lord, show me a way, because I am in complete darkness at this point. I need you to show me a path. And about 2 weeks later, I got a Facebook ad on my Facebook page that spoke about coaching, and it spoke about how you can become a coach. And I thought to myself, I said, I've done this job. I have worked with people, but I still wasn't sure whether, I would be able to make it into a business. So I went for this seminar, loved it, started out immediately. And in these last 5 years, I have coached over 25,000 people. I run a program called the Soul Warrior. Why soul? S-O-L-E. Because I truly believe you're born alone and you die alone. And the working that you need to do with yourself is a solo journey. So, I help people drop the baggage of the past. I help them to cut through all the noise that's there in the head. All the things that we say, I can't do this, I can't do that. Those are all our limiting beliefs. So I help them get rid of those. And I help them bring out their true potential. Because Fatima, I'm sure you will agree with me. When you go through something really bad in life, you get stuck there. And all your potential stays absolutely stuck. And from that point on, your life becomes a plateau, if not moving downwards. And that was my intention, to help people like me, people who were stuck somewhere bad, and get them out of it and bring out all their potential. So that's what I do currently, and I love what I do. And I don't run after the money, very simply because when you become the best version of you, money starts running after you. Would you agree with me?
I totally agree with you, Dinnaz, about you finding yourself, and when you find yourself, whatever you're looking for will come. And your story is amazing. But then I want you just to think of someone who's listening to your story right now, and she's full of fear, and their fear of how can I become like you? Because it sounds like you walked out of it and you were able to face your challenges. What can you tell someone who's still in fear? Like, I'm not like you, Dinnaz. How am I going to face my challenges? How am I going to break those limiting beliefs?
So, in my program, The Soul Warrior, I have 11 weapons that a warrior needs to bring his life to the level that he wants to. And the first weapon of the soul warrior is faith. You see, somewhere along the way, we lose our faith in the Maker. I'm not a religious person at all, but I have this massive connection to my Maker. And if you've got that faith, and if you keep falling back on it, and you keep saying, hey, I know you're looking after me, and I know that every single step that I take, you are right alongside me. I promise you, it's a step-by-step journey. But because you are sitting in a hopeless and a helpless place, you can't see anything in the front. And when you can't see, you can only move in faith.
That's very true. That is really true.
So, keep the faith. Keep taking one step after another. Don't look too much into the future. I'll tell you, I was like that. I would keep asking my near and dear ones, you really think I can do this? You really think I can earn the kind of money that my daughter needs? Because my daughter was terrifically expensive. Physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, special schooling, hospital visits. And I was always worried. How am I going to do this? Where will the money come from? What if she lands up in hospital? How will I pay for that? But then I knew intuitively that I had to keep the faith. If I kept the faith, things would move. And I did. Every time a fear would come into my head, I would say, He will look after it. The universe, call him whatever. You call him God, you call him the universe, you call it your higher self, whatever name you want to call it. But that energy that is way beyond me, alright? That is the energy that has been with me through these last so many years.
That's amazing. I believe in faith, and I believe if we don't have faith, we have nothing. And if you listen to Oprah also, she says she's a child of God. She believes that she's where she is because there's a higher purpose that is helping her to become who she wants to become. So I agree a lot with that. And having faith is everything, Dinnaz. I believe if you don't have faith, you have nothing. And if we watch people like Oprah, they're so successful. But what does Oprah tell you? I'm a daughter of God, because she believes that faith is everything. When I listen to your story, there's one thing that captures me, is that you went through a lot of pain with your dad and a lot of problems with him. But you had one thing that you do, and that's amazing for me, is that forgiveness. And a lot of people find it hard to forgive. And I think the most powerful thing that you did, and I love that about it when I listen to, like, you gave up everything that you've built to take care of your father. Where did you get that courage? What made you have that forgiveness? Because most of us find it so hard to forgive, but forgiveness is the key to everything. It's the key to letting go of all your baggage, I believe. And that's one thing that has really helped you. From whenever I listen to you, that's one thing that even you taught me, like, you need to forgive and grow, and that it helped me a lot.
So I come back to faith. If you have no faith, you have only you. Will you agree?
Yes.
And you are already messed up within you when you are in that situation. Now, when you talk about forgiveness, once again I go back to faith. I have that faith in my Maker that if He gave me that father, it was for my better, it was for my good. Alright? At that point, as a child, as a young adult, right up to the age of 45, I did not believe that. I believed I am the sole maker of my life. But when I realized that, hey, if he made things happen in my life, if this was the father that he chose for me, then something was meant for me in that. Something that would move and change my life. And I'll tell you this, I struggled with my dad issue. Seriously struggled. Because of my dad and because of the parenting model that I had had. Okay, so let me tell you this. When I was 17, I remember talking to a friend of mine and I was complaining about my dad. And I was saying, you know what? Why did I have to have this father? And I was just going on and on, venting it all out. And my friend, who must have been 18, 19, turned around and told me. He says, you know what, Dinnaz? Today you're cribbing about your father. When you become a mother, you will do exactly what he's done. And I was offended. I said, how dare you say that? I've suffered, so I know I'm never going to be like my father. And guess what? At the age of 45, all right, there came a day. Entire morning, my daughter had driven me up the wall. I was mad, angry, raged. And at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I found my fingers in her hair like this. I was dragging her along the floor. And I was taking her to the stairwell of my building. And my other daughter is screaming from the side, Mama, leave her, Mama, leave her. And I can't even hear my other daughter. I was in such a rage. I get to the stairwell, her hair is still in my hand, and I find myself standing up here, looking down at me and saying, Dinnaz, what are you doing? This is your father revisited. And in that instant, my fingers opened up. I took a U-turn, walked back into my house, slammed the door shut, and I sat down. And I said, what the hell was that? What was that? You based your entire 45 years of your life on the foundation that my father did not love me. Why? Because he beat me up. 45 years of your life you based on that foundation. Today, what did you do? You've beaten up Nasha. That means what? You don't love her. And I said, no, I love her. And I said, but there's no parity. Father beat you up, he didn't love you. You beat up Nasha, you love her. And then this little voice came up from deep within me and said, isn't there a possibility, just a possibility, that your father also did love you? He just had no better model of parenting. Because my father's mother was that way. She brought him up that way. That's the only model of parenting he knew. And he brought me up this way. And I had done exactly what he had done with me, with my child. And in that instant, the moment, I could see that possibility, I felt the anger sizzle out of my system. And 2 weeks later, Fatima, 2 weeks later, my mother calls me up. She lives 2 buildings away from me. Not 2 blocks, 2 buildings away. Calls me up and says, baby, there's something wrong with your father. I think we need to take him to the doctor. And I'm like, Mom, why are you calling me? What can I do? The man won't even speak to me. So she said, let me speak to him. If he says yes, will you take us to the doctor? And I said, of course I will. So she spoke to him. And wonder of wonders, he said yes. So I got dressed. I walked the distance of 2 buildings. I climbed up the staircase of my mum's building, 2 stories after 23 years. And I rang her doorbell, and my father opened the door, and he stood like this for a hug. Something that had never happened in my life, ever. My father hugging me was a constant dream. Any time I slept, morning, noon, or night, I would dream my father's hugging me. And from that day on, till the day that he was able to, I never walked into his house without Dad standing like this for a hug. I would first have to hug him, and only then could I enter the house. It's when you drop your baggage that things start moving. And the only way you can drop your baggage is through compassion. Feel that compassion for that person. Nobody ever wants to mess up somebody else intentionally, leave alone a father or a parent. Nobody ever gets up in the morning and says, hey, let's do one thing. Let me have a kid and let me mess the shit out of them. Do they? No. Everybody has a kid with the best of intentions. But somewhere along the way, because of their baggage maybe, they mess up. And it's only a mess up. It's just a mistake. It's not the intention. So if you can forgive, that's the first part. The moment you forgive, the baggage gets dropped. Now you can start seeing things in a different way. Now the universe starts making things happen for you.
That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And from listening to you, I just realized most of us don't put ourselves in other people's shoes.
Okay, Dinnaz, I totally agree with the forgiveness concept that you say. And I believe if you don't forgive, you don't let your baggages, you still hold them with you. I have a friend of mine who has always struggled in life, and she complains a lot. Why are things not happening to me? She went also through child abuse, and she was holding that grudge with her mom for a long time. And until when she agreed to forgive and let go, that's the only time she got to be free. And it's amazing how you forgive and let that pain go. You see things start working for you. You just start seeing things happening, and you wonder, what did I do? It's not a miracle. It's that you decide to be yourself and not defined with what happened to you. Because if you don't forgive, you still let the pain define you. And that's an amazing thing. So one thing you talked about, and I think a lot of women out there would like to know how you coped with it, is having a special need kid and being a mother and going through what you're going through. I know a lot of mothers go through this pain of breaking relationship because they have special need kids. What can you tell a mother who feels it's my fault, I'm not a good mother, or my child is the cause of this, my marriage to break? Because we always find reasons to put the blame or find a reason to hate ourselves when things go wrong. I think there's a lot of mothers out there would like to know, how did you cope with all of this to be where you are right now? And they would like to build themselves, rebuild their lives, taking care of their children with pride.
So, my sister and I were pregnant at the same time. Her daughter was born 3 days after mine. So I found myself in the biggest fight with God. My question was, why me? Why did you give me this child? I've barely gotten out of 20 years of torture with my father, have just started to breathe easily, and now you give me this child to ruin my life? So why me? Why me? I would keep saying, why me? Until when Nasha was about 5 months old, my mother got fed up of hearing why me. So she said, come, sit. She sat me down at the dining table And she said, listen, what is this rubbish, why me, that you keep saying? I said, look around you. Look at every mother that you know, including me. And tell me, honestly, do you see this child thriving with anybody else except you? She looked at me and she said, you know what? You are like a dog with a bone between his teeth. You just never quit. You just never let go. That is why this child has been given to you. Because the good Lord knows that you will never quit on her. You will keep doing whatever is required to make sure that she is okay. Said, stop all this rubbish and help this child fulfill her destiny. From that day on, I stopped saying why me. But you know something? My daughter is now 86 born, 34 years old. All right? Mentally, her age is that of an 8 to 10-year-old child. But let me tell you this, she is mine. These souls come to us for our benefit. Trust me, these souls will come in with, special needs. They are meant for us. They are meant to help us. They are meant to teach us. It's not the other way around. So if you have a special kid, you are a blessed soul. You are a blessed soul. Just keep doing what you need to do for that person and watch your life change. I'm telling you, my daughter is my biggest teacher. You have the mind of an 8 to 10-year-old, but the way she lives her life, oh man, you have no clue. With complete spirit, she does pretty much anything and everything she wants to do. All right? And she has his help all the way. So, when she was 16, she went to a special school. When she was 16, we got her IQ tested because that was what the school asked us to do. And her IQ was between 48 to 58. Now, people who know about IQ will know that that is pretty darn low. And technically, she was labeled, what was the label given to her? Severely mentally retarded. 48 to 58 is severely mentally retarded. When I went to meet the doctor for the report, I was told, listen, Dinnaz, she is not going to be able to do formal education. Impossible. Because she doesn't have the mind for it. She doesn't have the intelligence for it. So, leave it alone. Help her in other areas of her life. And I had accepted Nasha the way she was way back, so I was completely okay with it. Took the report, went to school, spoke to the principal, her teachers. All of them said the same thing. Dinnaz, at this level, formal education, not possible. All of us were good with that. We put her in a functional group so that she learns how to live her life. So that's a group wherein, they teach the children how to go shopping, how to go to the bank, how to write a check, how to get a passbook filled. So those kind of life skills. But my daughter became like a little donkey. She dug her heels in and she said, nothing doing. I want to do the 10th standard. So 10th standard is middle school for us and 12th standard is... So I told her, I said, Nasha, come on, there are a million things we can do. Don't get stuck on this 10th standard thing. But she refused to sit in the life skills class. So I sent her off to Australia because my mother was going to visit my sister for 6 months. I threw in a month in New Zealand for them to have a little holiday over there. And then when they returned back after 6 months, I said, okay, now let's start going back to school. Let's start the functional group. And she's, no, I am not going back. I'm not going into that class. I want to do the 10th standard. About a week later, she walks up to my house and she says, Mama, we are going to meet Roshan Auntie. I said, who the hell is Roshan Auntie? She lives on the second floor above us. She is the principal of Child Reach, which is a special school. Now, I had no clue that this lady existed on planet Earth. Okay? All this was Nasha's work. She found out, she went, spoke to the lady. The lady said, bring your mother. So she came to me, she said, let's go talk to Roshni. Inside my head, I'm thinking, who is this stupid woman who's putting these thoughts in Nasha's head when I go for the life skills class? Anyway, once Nasha's got a bee in her bonnet, I just have to do what she wants. So I got dressed, went to the lady. I said, yeah, tell me, what can I do? She said, nothing. Nasha wants to do the 10th standard. I am going to help her. I said, okay. I am not a teacher. I am a mother. Besides teaching, whatever help you need, I will give you. So she said, okay, bring her to school, take her back. I said, done. 2 years is what Nasha took to complete the 10th standard. Okay? And she got 72%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For somebody who was never expected to have that intelligence to be able to complete schooling, she did. And of course, after she had done that, there was no stopping her. Now I want to finish high schoolers. All right, let's go. Same thing, 2 years, broke up, 3 subjects in the first year, 3 subjects in the second year, 70%.
Wow.
You tell me, who does who a favor? The moment you have a special needs child, please know this, you are blessed because your life is going to change. Your life is going to change for the better. Because in helping that child fulfill her destiny, you are going to learn a whole load.
That is true.
Please understand that. These children are not a burden on us. They are our teachers. They are our guides.
Wow, that is an amazing, amazing story. And I love the part that you said acceptance is the key. Because if you don't accept, then it's going to be a very challenging road for you to even work with the kids. But the most part that touched me is that your daughter really has believed in herself. And I think most of us fail in life and we are stuck where we are because we lack that belief. You have to believe in who you are. You have to believe in what you want for you to achieve. And I think that's a very good example where we are stuck with the pain of the past. We are stuck with I come from a country where it's poor. I come from poverty. Poverty is holding me back to believing that I can be whatever I want to be as long as I put myself out there. That is amazing. It's an amazing, amazing story. I am touched with that because it's sad to see that there's someone who's healthy and is capable of struggling and making their life, and they don't believe in who they are. They just complain. And your daughter is just a proof of, if you want to be, you will be what you want to be. It doesn't matter. Nothing can stop you to be who you want to be. That is really amazing. So you have a Soul Warrior book and a Soul Warrior program. And from what you said, I think that's the inspiration that you had. So if you can share a little bit about the whole Soul Warrior program and what really inspired you, because I can get it from your journey, but there's more to it that inspired you to try and start with the program and build it and put it there. And I've read part of your book, and it's quite amazing. It's like the way you're talking is what you wrote in your book. And for someone who, like me, who has talked to you and I've been inspired with your progress, I'd like someone else to get that insight, because I believe there's someone out there who's still stuck with their baggage and they're still feeling, I am not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not strong enough.
So I was that. Like I said, it's a step-by-step journey. You start out with faith. Then you bring the courage in to address the voice in your head that keeps saying, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'll never be able to make that kind of money. Whatever that inner voice of yours is telling you, you have to have the courage to stand there and accept it and say, okay, fine, I hear you, but I want this. And then you turn that into a powerful code for yourself. I'll tell you this. So when I was completing my education, when I was completing my last year of graduation, I couldn't study at home. So what I used to do is I would put my daughter on her school bus in the morning, and then I would go off to a friend's house and I would study over there in the silence and the peace. And her mother was one of my first coaches. So, I would be studying in my friend's room, but I would come out for lunch and, Dolit Auntie, that's my friend's mother, and I would sit together and eat. And the worry that was there in myself would come out to Dolit Auntie. I would keep asking her, Dolit Auntie, you really think I will be able to make this kind of money? Dolit Auntie, do you really think that I'll be able to look after this child all by myself? And, she heard me and she heard me. And then finally one day she said, come sit. Do you pray? I said, no, I'm not religious. I don't pray. She said, great. Then I am going to teach you something, and I want you to use that as a prayer. And I want you to keep repeating that to yourself. Every minute that you have free, mentally free, I want you to repeat that inside your head. So I said, okay. And she taught me a poem. Okay? And she didn't write it out for me, or she didn't print it out for me. She taught it to me verbally. And she said, you must say it exactly the way I am teaching it to you. You want to know the poem?
Yes, please. We would love to know it.
I don't know who's written it. It's anonymous, but this is the poem. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say no till he tried it. So he buckled right in with a bit of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody said, oh, you'll never do it. At least no one has ever done it. But he put on his coat and he put on his hat, and before he knew it, he'd begun it. There are thousands to say it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands who'll point to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that couldn't be done, and you'll do it.
Wow, 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 wow.
I have learnt this poem 27 years back. But this poem is in the memory of every cell in my body. You wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning also and start me out from the middle of the poem, and I'll be able to take it further. Do you have any idea what a good code, a good powerful code can do to your life? So from this person for who everything was impossible, thanks to that poem. And even today, when the thought comes into my mind, fear is there in every one of us. In every one of us, there is fear. Nobody is fearless.
Mm-hmm.
But that person takes the fear and moves with the fear. Whereas most of us just keep listening to that fear and we become completely stuck at that point in our lives. If you want to move past your fears, you will have to create some great codes for yourself. Will you agree with me?
Yes, definitely. That's the most powerful thing that you've said. Like, if you want to create a better life, and the poem is touched almost every part of you building yourself, is you've got to create the beliefs that make you powerful, the codes that make you want to become better. And also, the poem talks about something very important. If you don't believe in your dreams, nobody will. You talk about your dreams, and when you say, I want to do something, and how many people will tell you it's not possible? How many of you have been told that it's not possible? So you've got to go deep inside. You've got to find the people who can actually even support that dream. It's a very powerful poem, and it touches most of the parts that makes us build our mindset. You've got to believe, and I agree with Dinnaz, the codes that you make in your life. I remember when I was talking to her first and I was telling her I don't have confidence. The first thing she told me, if you don't believe in yourself, there will be no confidence. And that you will not have confidence if you don't believe in who Fatma is. And that's the one thing that really pushed me to be sitting here today, because whenever I was talking to her, she used to tell me, Fatma, you have the confidence in you, but you have to believe in who you are. And that's powerful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that poem, because it's a powerful way of reminding us that if you want to be anything in life, you've got to be the cheerleader, the everything that you want to be, for you to be that person. Dinnaz, I look at you and I see confidence. And even when you were talking in the preview, for me, I just look at you and I like, where did she get the confidence? How can she become this confident? And I think someone else out there is looking at you right now and go like, I want to be like her. I want to have that confidence. So how did you get to build this confidence? How did you become so confident and in believing in yourself so much?
All right. So first comes faith, then comes courage. Now, every time that you grab that courage, every one of us has the courage too. It's all within. You grab your courage and you address everything that you feel that you couldn't do. Okay? And the first time you do something that you thought you couldn't do, you say, oh wow, I did that. And then you start acknowledging that. You say, you know what? I thought I could never do that, but I did it. That means there's so much more that I can do that I have always believed that I couldn't. Those were all false beliefs. Let me see what more I can do. And so, step by step. And when you have moved enough, then you start seeing a pattern in your life. And you start figuring out, why was I born? There is a purpose for every one of us to be born here, to go on this journey of life. Why was I born? What is the purpose for my life? And when you find that purpose, whoa, then your confidence goes even further up. All of that happens with self-discipline. Because every step you take, your mind will say, no, 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 you're going to fall off the cliff. And you have to keep putting in your power codes, your powerful codes to subdue that voice so that you can take that step and you can keep moving. But that happens with discipline. You have to inculcate that discipline into yourself. That discipline and awareness to be present to what is going on in your mind. That takes discipline too. You need to learn so many new things, newer skills. I wouldn't be standing here if I had not learned newer skills, because I had zero skills when I started my journey at 33 years. I had zero skills, zero creativity, nothing. I had to learn. Initially, I was scared to learn because I feared failure. But then I learned to tell myself, failure is the first step to success. It is okay to fail. It is okay to make mistakes. It's okay. Just do it. Continue. Never mind. Fail. Okay. I'll try another way. Think about it, Fatima. With my daughter, Nasha, I am still finding new ways to handle her. She's 34, she has massive OCDs. I have to deal with her. Now, I can get pissed off and upset, or I can keep looking for solutions and I can keep looking for newer ways to do things. And I can keep learning. And it's only because I kept learning that today I am at a much better place with her. Much, much better place.
That is amazing. And I think most of us feel like confidence is something that we are born with, but it's something that you build. Like you say, you've got to work on yourself. You've got to learn new skills. You've got to believe and create codes. And actually, it's like Tony Robbins says, if you want to change, you've got to raise your standards. And yes. I believe every time you raise your standard, and I can take that as for myself, Dinnaz knows me, I was a very shy person and I could not even speak to people. But the moment when you try something and you put yourself out there and you build something new, you just find yourself seeing a new version of you. And that's the beauty of it. And I love what you said. You've got to have code that to show who you really are. And you can't be different if you don't do things differently. So Les Brown always says, if you want to be different, you've got to do something that you haven't done in your life. You've got to try something that you never thought you could do. And that's amazing. And thank you for sharing your journey, Dinnaz. So if I would ask you to just tell us who's Dinnaz in one sentence, what will that be? In one sentence, who is Dinnaz?
Dinnaz is fulfilled. I am leading a fulfilled life now. In every way, in every aspect of life, I am fulfilled. And I keep filling myself. Just because you are fulfilled doesn't mean, okay, now I'm ready to go up. No, you keep filling yourself up. You keep topping yourself up. I have tremendous energy. I never get tired because I'm doing something I love doing. Helping people is like mother's milk to me. My mother brought me up on a staple diet of helping others and serving others. So, I always tell people, I'm not a fair weather friend. Please don't call me if you're having a party or you're getting married. Don't bother to call me, I won't come. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, if you need somebody to take you to the hospital, make me your first call.
Oh, wow.
I won't be doing you a favor. You'll be doing me a favor. Because I love doing things for people. I love it.
That's amazing. So you're fulfilled. And I think most of us miss that in life. Fulfillment is everything, because that's why we're all struggling to find the fulfillment. And you talked about something very powerful, is you having a purpose. The moment you know your purpose and have the clarity of what you want in life, the fulfillment just settles in. That's really, really powerful. And thank you so much.
The sad part is that people run after happiness.
Yes.
They want to be happy. What will make them happy? They have no clue.
Okay. So, Dinnaz, I want to thank you so much, because you talked about so many things. And one of the things you talked about is acknowledgement. People acknowledging their success. We never look back and see what we've done in life. And I think you're a good example when you look back and you always acknowledge what you've done to reach where you are right now. And we always look at the bigger picture. We look at the end results. We don't look at the journey. And we never acknowledge the small things. We always look at the bad things that we've done, the wrong things that we've done in life. We never acknowledge our successes. And I can talk about that, because I've always looked at my failures. I never looked at the things that I did that were good, until when I started acknowledging myself. That then I started building my confidence and being here. And you talked about something else. You talked about fear. I don't think anybody can make it in life without fear. Fear is part of us, and we have to embrace it, because whatever we take is a challenge. And if you don't have fear, then you can't do anything. So embracing fear is part of growth. Yes. And failure is the journey of success. And I agree, that's what you said. If you don't fail, you don't become successful. If you look at your life, you've gone through a lot of things, but those failures that you went through in life is what made you be here. And again, we all look at the bigger picture, the end. We don't look at the journey. And the powerful part of it, I learned, is you've got to anticipate challenges in whatever you're doing in life, because they're going to be there. They're going to come. And
I don't say anticipate, because if you anticipate, if you're expecting them, then trust me, you will get them. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm not saying anticipate, but I'm saying let whatever's got to come.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
Because if you've got a problem, there are a million solutions to every problem. If one doesn't work, try another. If the other doesn't work, try another. That's okay. Let challenges come, knowing that every challenge has enough solutions. You know that within your system. And therefore, when a challenge comes along, you just handle it easily. You won't be that thing that we used to do, that doesn't happen anymore. Now it's whatever comes, I'm able to handle it a lot easier, in an easier manner too.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I mean is, a lot of us expect to start things without challenges. So if I failed, I want to start something and I have challenges. So challenges is the way to growth. It's the way for you to get where you want. And I appreciate the fact that you talked about purpose. That is a very powerful thing. What is the one thing that wakes you up in the morning and just drives you to do what you want? Having purpose in life and knowing what you want in life, that's amazing. So again, I would like to thank you. And I know there's someone who's watching there and listening and is really wants to change their lives and they want to know more about the Soul Warrior. So how can you, if somebody wants to reach you? Yes, Dinnaz.
That everything that happened in my life, every single challenge that the good Lord threw at me, everything contributed to making this person that I am today. And if the good Lord were to come and stand in front of me and say, Dinnaz, I have a rewind button, I can rewind it to wherever you want and you can change whatever you want in your past, I would tell him, please don't touch that button. because everything that was there was given to me so that I could become this person.
Yes.
And I love this person that I've become.
So that is amazing. And I
So
think most of
anybody who feels, why did that happen to me? Hey, you can't see it today. It's okay. Down the road, all of those bad things that happened, you will be able to look back and connect the dots. And you'll be able to see how every one of those challenges, those problems have contributed to your growth, your evolution.
that is amazing. I love the fact that you talked about connecting the dots. It's really, really amazing. And I think a lot of people miss that. They miss the fact that you need to look at the dots. What was happening? Why is this happening to me? And connect it to build you instead of sitting and being a victim of what is happening to you. That is really, really powerful. Thank you so much, Dinnaz. And I think someone out there is looking at you and thinking, I want to know more about the soul warrior. How can I reach her and rebuild myself? Because I think the journey to change, the journey to grow is to finding people who have done it and they help you to become who you want. So someone out there would love to know more about your Soul Warrior program and try and change or build their lives to the next level. How can they reach you?
So my Facebook page is Dinnaz. My website is www.askdinnaz.com.
And your book is on Amazon. If someone, Soul Warrior is on Amazon. If someone goes to Amazon, they will find it.
It's an ebook. I'm converting it into a proper physical book now.
Okay. So thank you so much, Dinnaz. Thank you for taking your time and sharing with us. And our takeaways today, Dinnaz has told us a lot of amazing things. And one of the things is having faith. If you don't have faith, you have nothing, which is very powerful. Acknowledging who you are, acknowledging your successes, beliefs. And I think everything in her journey, whatever she talked about the power of belief and having quotes that really can help you build yourself. And the most important thing he talked about is having the courage of becoming who you want to be, having the courage of going out there to facing the challenges and being yourself. Fear is part of us, and from her story we learned that you can't let fear make you not grow. If she had fear, she would not be with us here today. And failure is part of growth, so we should not be scared of failure. We should not be scared of not challenges. It's part of growth, and we need to have the challenges for us to grow. Thank you so much for all those insights, Dinnaz, and we hope to have you soon next time in our program to know more about the Soul Warriors. I think we need to inspire more women and youth out there. Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing you on stage. I look forward to seeing you as a powerful speaker. And you are. I know that. The first time I saw you, I think I had told you that.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you told me. You said it's genuine. It's within you. You just have to believe. Yeah, I remember what you told me. You told me confidence is, you have all the confidence. You just have to believe in yourself. And that's what's pushing me. Thank you so much for your time, Dinnaz.